Welcome to Modern Musings, conversations with the maiden, mother, and crone, looking at ourselves and the world through the lens of the 21st century. Hello and welcome back. I'm your hostess, Kristen, and I'm with my co-hosts, Amber and Cindy.
Hello.
Hello.
And today we are talking about beliefs and why we feel compelled to share those beliefs. Like, what is that drives us? And that's literally my question. Like, why is it that we feel so compelled to be like, oh, that's because blah, 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 you know? Whether it's your ideology for politics or your faith or just, whatever conspiracy or health, what is it that makes us, feel necessary? And it's funny because, I'm always kind of like cringy about that. Like, I don't feel that way a lot of times. And maybe it's, I don't know. This is where Amber's going to have to tap in and chime in, because here's where I stand. And I think I can back up my theory without like a textbook definition. Yeah. She could probably tell me what that definition is. But whenever other people are like publicly, vehement about their belief, and it's kind of in a socially awkward way where it maybe not be acceptable to like share it, right? Because there's a time and a place, right? That's saying like don't share politics or religion topic discussion
in mixed company
and 3 or more people, right? That's a 2-person conversation. And I've always been a firm believer in that, because when you add other people to the mix, then conflict arises. And that's where it's cringy to me, because I avoid the conflict.
Right.
And I always wondered if that's because, like, my beliefs, I don't feel validated in my beliefs, and I don't want to speak them out loud because I don't want to be rejected.
That's a thought.
And maybe when other people do it, I cringe because I don't want them to feel rejected.
That's a thought.
Right? It's like mirroring my self-worthlessness.
It's a trigger.
It is. It triggers me, because whenever other people do it, I'm like, oh my God, don't do that. Shh.
Right.
Shh. I'm going to get in trouble,
I do, I feel, and I'm going to let Amber talk here in just a second, but I agree that that is part of why you probably don't. I know that some people feel that way too. I don't mind having those kinds of conversations if the parties involved agree and behave as though these are my beliefs and I don't expect you to believe them. Because I am all for a good, hearty debate. If somebody comes to me and says, this is what I believe, blah, 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 and they're open to listening to what I believe, and they're okay with the fact that I believe what I believe and they believe what they believe, then I'm good with it. But when people tell me that what I believe is wrong, or they tell me what they believe expecting me because they're right, they just know they're right and I'm wrong or whatever, or they expect me to listen to them and believe what they believe, I don't agree with that. So anyone who comes to me and says, well, that's because blah, 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 without that caveat of saying, this is what I believe, and you can take it or leave it. Now, as long as you say, this is what I believe, and you can take it or leave it, then I'm okay with it. But I do not like it when other people do it. Now, as for why we share, I will start and say, number one, ego. It's our ego. And I think Eckhart Tolle would agree with that. We have to draw our little line in the sand and hold our ground, because if we don't state our beliefs, then somebody can trample all over them or they are invalidated, which is the same reason you don't want to talk about it. So I think that's part of it. I think that we have to state our belief to mark our spot. It's like the dog peeing on the bush or the fire hydrant. I was here. This is what I believe. So don't ignore me. Now, I don't know if that's right. Amber can tell us what she thinks. She's learning psychology. Maybe there's something you've taught, or maybe you just, maybe you haven't learned that yet, but maybe you have some insight on that.
So when Kristen was talking about validation, that was a very valid idea. Ha ha ha. Had to do that. So validation is definitely a very key thing. Why people, feel the need to word vomit their thoughts and feelings.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for agreeers, people that like step along with them and share their beliefs and values, because as humans we want people to agree with us,
Right,
and
right.
we want like a following and an acceptance and to be in the huddle. And also as humans, and this is something that I have never understood, even though I am human, I have never
Maybe.
understood the what?
I said maybe.
I'm really not. Like, honestly, I've never felt human in my whole entire life.
No, I'm teasing
But
you.
really, like the need to categorize oneself.
Yeah, yeah.
That is something that I have never understood. And this is coming from somebody that rejects all labels,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
including my own gender. So I mean, like, I do not ever feel and my own age. I don't feel like I'm in my 40s, but like I don't ever feel the need to categorize myself. Like, I don't feel female enough to call myself female, or in my 40s enough to call myself in my 40s. I don't feel political enough to trample down to one specific political belief, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Everything like that. So I don't really understand. I mean, I understand, but at the same time, I don't. Everybody's need to like fall into a category of some sort. And it's just like a so human thing. So there is a theory. I have a theory. It could be bunnies. Y'all are looking at me blankly.
Yes.
Y'all obviously haven't seen Buffy. Okay, Buffy fans, raise your hand. But anyway.
No, not a Buffy watcher. Sorry.
So I had there is a theory, and it's called the social identity theory. It came about in 1979 by a guy named Henry Tajfel. I'm probably butchering the name, but we have to learn a lot about theories and stuff in grad school. So his theory suggests that people seek to enhance their self-esteem by identifying with groups and differentiating from out groups.
Yes.
Yeah, so this can lead to favoritism, prejudice, stereotyping, as people favor those who belong in their group and reject
and they
those
reject
that,
the others. Yes.
yeah, and which goes down to the human
Being
need
in the
of-
in crowd.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Being in the in crowd.
Right.
And so I mean that's a really like good base theory to follow why people feel like they need to be out and about their beliefs, because they're looking for their own in crowd.
Right. But what about people who do it even though they're in the out crowd, so to speak?
And this is like a total Gen Z term, but my students would call it rage baiting.
Oh,
Doing it on
yeah.
purpose.
Yes,
That's our
yes,
generation calls
being
it trolling.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Trolling,
yeah.
rage baiting. It's because people sometimes feel the inherent need if like
To stir the pot.
yeah, exactly.
To get
Yeah,
the out people out.
exactly.
To
Yeah.
find them.
So even if you and people do this even if they don't believe what they're saying.
Oh, yeah.
They do it
Oh, yeah.
just to stir the pot to get the reaction
Mhm.
out of other people because in their little twisted brain, I'm just kidding, it's probably not twisted because I do it too sometimes. I call it in my rhetoric class playing the devil's advocate
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
because we do have to do that in rhetoric.
You know what I do, and I do that too, and that's why I say, I'm okay with having those discussions with people,
Mhm.
even in a large group. Sometimes I will play the devil's advocate and state something that I don't believe, not to stir the pot,
But just to make sure everyone's considering all the
all
sides.
the aspects of it, right? But I also know people who, who vehemently believe what they believe, and they just state it like you said, like word vomit. Every time a topic comes up, they will state this belief that they have, and then invariably there's someone else in the group who believes the opposite of that, and they have to word vomit their belief, and it sometimes can escalate into something
Uncomfortable.
very
Yeah.
uncomfortable for everybody else, and not just for everybody else, but for
Mhm.
those people who were initially part of that conversation. It becomes, and they get to where they can't stand each other because they bait each other every time they're together. And
Yes.
on that one topic, they're okay until they talk about that one topic. And then it's like, what the heck?
And if you want some psychological terms for that, like when somebody has mental discomfort when they experience encountering ideas that contradict their belief and they want to argue about it, that is called cognitive dissonance.
Dissonance.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
And so they themselves get into a rage because they are like 100% at their belief and they don't want to go vary from any other belief,
Right.
and so they're gonna like dig their heels in like you
Yeah,
were
they're
talking
totally
about.
intolerant of even the slightest leaning in a different direction. Yeah.
And there are other words for that too, like confirmation bias
Mm-hmm.
is another one, and psychological reactance, which is they're reacting
Yes.
to those things. And then so like and then as far as like the counter argument type thing, uh that one is called dialectical thinking.
Okay.
So like they basically that's a thinking style that recognizes contradictions and embraces opposing perspectives and seeks to synthesize between them.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's totally me. Yeah.
And so it's also, like there are also other things like psychological reactance and contrarian thinking, which is, yeah, that is pretty much a fancy way of saying the counter argument, like always wanting to go for the counter argument. And that's a good, like, psychological perspective to come about these things. But, like, it all goes down to what Kristen originally said, validation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to be validated, or if they can't get validation, then they're going to stir the pot.
Right. Right. That, and it actually, before we started this podcast, I was thinking about, because I really didn't have the answer to this question either. But I was thinking about something that, it's a teaching method that we used in Scouts, particularly in Boy Scouts, to teach new skills, and it's called the EDGE method.
Mm-hmm.
And it's where you explain, you demonstrate, you guide, and you enable. But it made me think about sometimes some of those topics, it's not necessarily getting away from like the politics and the religion, but like say healthcare or whatever. I know I have a terrible habit of anytime somebody has a health issue or whatever, my brain starts going right to, oh, I know about, you could do this or you could
Trying
do
to
that.
give them tips.
Trying to
yeah.
give them
Yeah.
tips and stuff. And I think it goes back to that thing where you explain it, and it's twofold. I'm trying to teach it to you, but I'm also reinforcing those beliefs myself. So particularly with weight loss and things like that, if somebody complains about, needing to control their blood sugar or something, as a diabetic, I know I'm not that great all the time too, but I know what you're supposed to do. So if I say those things, if I explain to someone who maybe has less control than me, then I am reinforcing those things, not just for them, but for myself as well.
Yeah.
It's further validation
You know
for me.
what?
Well, Cindy, it sounds like you have helper syndrome. Okay,
Oh.
go
Oh
on.
God. Yeah.
No, I was literally thinking that some people take offense to that.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
I know.
to them, your advice
is
is
telling them what to do.
and
it's-
that they don't
that's
know
so
how
me.
to do
I'm
it or
that
they
person.
haven't
That's me.
tried all of those things
right,
already.
right.
And actually what really helps is to validate their struggle.
Ah.
Yes. So
Okay.
then, because you even said it, you were like, I even struggle with that. But if you come off with the front of, have you tried this? Have you done this? You should do this. This works
Right.
the best. Drink some vinegar. Have some,
Yeah.
low carb. Do this.
Right,
Go
right,
to bed
right.
on time. Then it's like an attack, an affront of all the
Mhm.
things that everyone's
Yeah.
supposed to be doing that they aren't doing, that they can't do, or they're failing
Right.
at, versus
You're threatening their
empathy.
ego.
Well, yeah, there is
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah,
But-
and that's on them. It is.
But
It
but,
really
but I
is.
see your
Yes.
point about
But
if rather
it's
than
in your
doing
good
that,
intentions,
y-
right?
right. But rather than do it that way,
Was
if
it the road to hell is
I
paved with
said,
good
well,
intentions?
I struggle too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is so hard to lower your blood sugar, especially when everything has sugar in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But yeah.
And see,
yeah.
now we all agree that it's hard. And then if you say, you know what I found really helps? Now, I'm not very good at it, but... And then
Sometimes
you
I do
offer
this.
your tip,
Yeah.
and then it's not a tip.
Yeah.
It's like, it's camaraderie.
Right.
And that's where
It's
it
kinda
doesn't
like
come
your
cringy.
What was that criticism thing that
Kristen,
you were
need to
telling
change
about
your
your
major to psychology.
your criticism sandwich?
Oh, yes.
Remember?
It's an Oreo cookie, or you can call it the poop sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
But, it's bread, which is the good thing.
yeah.
And then the area you need to improve,
Yeah.
and then the bread again.
Yeah,
So, coming at it with a gentle, connection
yeah.
in
yeah.
some way. And
Uh-huh.
then you deliver what you need to work on, and then you circle back with, you're really doing great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think you can really hit this.
That
goal.
one is actually, that's very helpful. That
Yeah.
is very helpful. Now, how do I help? How do I help? I'm not a helper. I swear to God, I'm not a helper.
You
I'm
liar.
a leader. I'm a leader.
You're a helper leader.
But how do you make? Well, no, it's not that I want to help them. It's that I want them to stop. No. What
You
do
wanna
you
fix
do when
everything.
you want to
I want to
control
fix
the
everything.
narrative.
Yes, I'm a perfectionist. That's what it is. I want to fix everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you do when you have that person who always has to state their belief, even though they've stated it 1,000 times? We all know what that belief is, but they feel the need to state that belief and stir that pot. So, how do we get them to not do that? How do we head that off at the pass? How do we stop
Mm-hmm.
this conflict in our group, or whatever?
Yeah. Family or friends or
Friends
even
or-
at work.
Right. yeah.
So diffusing. So you have to think about it as not like putting the hammer down, I would think.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking like as a leader at work, Like, you can't just put your hammer down because that doesn't alleviate anything. It just lets everyone know that their opinions aren't valued and it's not tolerated.
Right.
Yeah, don't raise
So-
your voice.
Oh,
Come
no,
at
no,
it very
no.
calmly.
Yeah, so you got to think about it as not stopping something but diffusing it. And I definitely think it has to be gently approached.
Yeah.
Obviously Amber's the expert in that, so hopefully you have a better solution than that.
Well,
I would
no,
be
man,
calling
I just jump
HR
in
and start
and asking
screaming.
HR
I
how
know.
to
Well, one
handle
of
it,
these
you know.
in a particular situation, there was someone who there's a couple of people and they rile each other up over it, or, because one of them believes one thing and one of them believes something else, and invariably somebody will say something totally unrelated, but it will devolve into this, and I have had to step in and just say, what you said was, devalued the other person's belief. So
At that point, Cindy, you just got to get out your popcorn and
Watch. The cat fight
pull
unfold.
a Michael Jackson at the
no,
movies.
because it literally makes everybody
The
gif.
when this
Yeah.
happens, it makes everybody uncomfortable, even the people who brought up the conversation.
Oh no, totally not me. I'll pull out my popcorn.
Oh,
Oh,
I
no,
can't
you
s-
always leave the room.
you
Yeah.
Well,
leave.
okay.
Yeah.
Metaphorically.
but I
Yeah.
can't leave the room.
No. I like
Yeah.
to leave the room because then I'll jump in and it'll get all riled up and
Well, I literally had to step in one time and just say, what you just said, the way you said that, told this person that what they believe is, you just invalidated everything that they believe.
Yeah, I think the best way to do it is just come at it calm. And I read this in a book, and I wish I could tell you the book, but it was like the 10
Again.
Secrets to Parenting. I don't remember what it was, but the guy was talking about the effectiveness in your words and discipline, right? And when he said this, it was like, because I realized that it works on every human anytime. Right?
You need to
So-
describe your little
I
emotion.
know, my
You
brain-
always do that.
my-
Your brain exploded. I know.
Yeah, my brain
but
exploded.
but they can't see your brain
All
exploding.
they heard
so-
was my mouth going, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, my brain exploded. There, insert emoji. And he said that you can never have the same effectiveness when you discipline a child if you're yelling as if you whisper.
Oh, I know that. Oh, yeah.
So-
yeah.
If you were like, I'm so mad at
We've
you
talked
right
to-
now.
We've talked
that's
about
totally
this before.
teaching
And then you
101,
say,
classroom management 101
I'm
as
so
well.
upset with you right now.
Oh, I know. If you whisper,
is
they're
scarier when you're
afraid.
quiet.
It's
Because
like kids are
You
very
are
afraid.
so under control right now.
Yes.
You're so mad
Yes.
that you're in
Yes.
calm mode.
Well, I don't do
And-
it mad.
No. I'm just saying people in general, though, if you
Right.
needed to come into that situation to like diffuse to people that are like amplifying their, what was that word? Dissonance, I guess.
Yeah.
You would have to come in with the opposite, right? 'Cause
Right.
You're a magnet.
Right.
You got to be that magnet and come in with the calm and cool, and then show them where the empathy is and the connection.
Right.
And like what you said is, hey, did you realize that what you said
Yeah.
kind of devalued what that person said because
That's
You
not
said
what they believe.
their
Yeah.
belief doesn't exist?
Yeah.
And I know that person is your friend and you care about their feelings. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting way of telling them that.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. Amber, help me out. Because honestly, I
No,
would.
I mean,
yeah,
that's
you're
basically
doing
what
so good right
That's
now.
basically what I did because, it wasn't, they weren't yelling at each other or anything. Although I have had that happen too, like in like hot topic politics in the middle of a craft event,
Yeah.
But, this one, they weren't yelling at each other or anything, but it was literally one just stated her belief as though it is solid fact.
Yeah.
and everybody else
Honestly,
should
I
agree with
don't
her.
think either of them were uncomfortable. It was just everyone else that was uncomfortable witnessing it.
Well, no, because
No,
I've
maybe it
talked
was
to
just me.
one of them wasn't uncomfortable because she didn't realize what she
Realize.
was doing.
Right.
The other one was uncomfortable because this person does this to her every time.
Yeah.
And so what she states is that that's not what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other person is like, well, you cannot believe it, but that's what it is. And it's like, no, 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 no. And so then one of them is like shooting daggers out of her eyes at the other one because she's just, you just told me that what I believe is not real. And
Yeah.
the other one is like going, but what I believe is real. So they're, I don't know. It's just,
It's very hard.
it
It's
is.
hard
And
when
I
you
want
have-
them to believe what they believe. And I don't want them to have to believe the same thing as each other. I want them to accept that other people have different beliefs. And you don't have to bring up your belief every time the conversation turns to that subject.
Mhm.
We know what your belief is. So don't mention it anymore. And I'm not even really saying that. But I'm just saying you don't have to tell us what you believe every time somebody talks about blah, blah, blah. So we'll use the politics, for example. Just because somebody's talking about taxes, you don't have to say how Republican you are. And the other person doesn't have to say, well, I'm a Democrat.
Mhm.
You don't have to. Nobody cares. We already know what you believe. Does that make sense?
I think those people say it because they want people to care.
Maybe. They want people to believe what they believe.
No.
Exactly. No,
I
you're
think
right,
they want
Kristen. You're exactly
to be
right.
validated as a person, and
Right, but they do it every single time. When the topic isn't even about whatever it was. And they do it to the point where they alienate everybody else in the room.
Mhm.
So you're not, by doing that behavior, you are not building your tribe of like-minded people. You are alienating yourself from everyone else in the room. Sometimes even the people who believe the same thing that you do. Because they're so uncomfortable with the way that you threw it out there.
Mhm.
And literally threw it in people's faces.
Mhm. Well, at that point, Mom, that's like that person's problem that
Well-
they need to come to discover on their own. I don't know if you would be able to even point that out to that person without devaluing them.
I know. That's
a
why I
tricky
say
situation.
it's a really tricky situation. And it's like, I don't want them to quit believing what they believe. But I'm like, I don't know. It's frustrating. It's frustrating for them to continually throw that belief against the wall to see if it sticks, And because they already know, the person already knows everybody in the room and what they believe. So, I don't know. It's kind of weird. So, anything to add to that, Amber?
No, it's pretty much what we've all covered.
Yeah.
And even though they know all those things that you said, that what everybody believes, they're still seeking that validation.
I know. Yeah.
They're seeking they're seeking somebody in the room other than each other to step up for them, for their side, and back them up. And nobody seems willing to do that. Like Kristen will ignore the situation, and I will get up and walk out of the room.
You're ignoring the situation too. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're the only one that steps up, but you're trying to get them to see the same thing. You're trying to get them to see each other's perspectives.
I'm the mediator. I'm trying to get them to come in the middle.
When they refuse to see each other's perspectives, So it's not really doing them any favors as well,
Yeah.
mediating, because it's just the same cycle over
Yeah.
and over again. But they're still going to seek validation from a
Yeah.
third party to back up their beliefs.
So maybe I guess then the answer to that is when this situation happens, we should all just get up and leave the room and let them hash it out until it turns into a cat fight.
Honestly, I'm. Oh, I was about to say.
You just
See
give
who
them
wins?
each a
No.
weapon, and then we
Soccer
ride
bopper.
We ride
Yeah.
it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just like, yeah. But it really kind of brings that perspective too, because I know we all do it in our own ways. We all have things that we feel passionately about. And
Oh yeah, you and I will be like pew 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 at each other, and Amber's looking at us like, God, you guys
Shut
argue about the
up.
dumbest
I
things.
know, right?
No, what I was trying to say was, but you interrupted because I was talking first, and I was trying to say that's what we argue about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all argue about arguing.
Oh, we do.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's what we argue about is
Yes.
arguing.
Well, that's
Yes.
that mother-daughter dynamic there. But,
Yeah.
but yeah, maybe maybe gain a little perspective there, from our own point of view, that whenever we feel compelled to state our point of view,
Mm-hmm.
rather than trying to influence anyone or to validate ourselves through other people, just be still in knowing that you can
Mhm.
have your own belief without having to validate it. You don't have to validate your beliefs. There is no reason why you have to validate your beliefs. Being that it is your belief validates it in and of itself.
Yeah. Know that your belief matters.
Yeah.
Now, I do believe, though, that I believe that
I believe
you
that your belief.
should validate your beliefs amongst other people, though, because that is how you find your people.
Well,
you find your
yes,
tribe.
yes, but if you're throwing them out there amongst what I'm talking about is like amongst people that may not believe what you believe.
Yeah, not
know.
rage baiting, though.
No, I'm
Please
not talking
don't
about
rage
rage
bait.
baiting.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about, like trying to subtly convince somebody to believe what you believe.
Mhm.
Sometimes, I mean, we all are guilty of that. I think we should
Yeah.
do,
Yeah,
whatever.
honestly, I think that's where it really goes back to Theresa Crowd. Honestly, you are more likely to be successful, I think, challenging someone in that debate style of
One-on-one,
bringing
huh?
up, in a one-on-one,
One-on-one.
making it more personal, and then it's not heated because
But-
no one feels
but you know what?
publicly attacked.
That's the funny thing, though, is because those people who state those things like that, particularly the instigator, they don't have those discussions one-on-one. They tend to wait until they're in a crowd. And they're not, I know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily rage baiting.
Mhm.
They just don't have those kind of conversations when they're one-on-one.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's not with anyone, not with people that believe like they believe or with people who don't believe. I would love it if the two people I'm thinking of could sit down and talk in an adult way, level-headedly about what they believe and why they believe it.
Mhm.
Not just saying, well, I've read a bunch of stuff and that's what it says, which is what we get a lot of times. But,
That's what most people's argument
I know
is.
it is. I
about
read a bunch of stuff
anything.
and that's
Yeah.
true. Well, what if
Yeah.
what if what was written wasn't true,
Mhm.
But, whatever.
They have to cite their sources.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
What is that? The Chicago what? What are
Oh
those?
God, they're like MLA.
Yes,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
you go.
Chicago APA.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I would love it if they would just have that conversation and be done with it and, say what you have to say,
But
and get it over with.
honestly, isn't that what world peace is?
Well, no, world peace is not having that. World peace is understanding that we all have different beliefs and we accept people having those different beliefs.
Isn't that what you just said you wish those two people would do?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
we should establish some ground rules here before going to crafting marathons. No politics
Oh, God, yes, please.
at the crafting marathons.
Yes. No politics. No
Only-
religion.
Only talking about crafting.
Crafting. And husbands. We can talk about husbands.
Okay, husbands
Yeah.
and crafting.
Husbands and crafting.
And food.
And
We
food.
can talk
We can talk about
yeah.
food.
Mhm.
Yes.
And
yes.
books.
Oh, books. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
but yeah,
But not books about topics.
that are controversial.
That, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Only.
If they're politics,
No bad books.
religion, or about men that are not your husband. Yeah.
I don't want to hear about your men that aren't your husband.
No book
Oh, wait a minute. I'm
boyfriends?
single. In fact, half of us are single. So,
Oh,
yeah.
and you're not allowed to talk about diets or weight loss or nutrition because calories don't count when you're on a retreat.
retreat. That's right.
Yep,
Yep,
there you
yep, yep.
go.
There we go.
Politics
Right.
don't count and calories don't count on
That's
a
right.
retreat.
That's right. All right.
So what are we talking about next week?
Rage baiting.
Oh,
Subtle ways to rage bait.
Yeah. Rage baiting 101.
oh. No, actually, we're going to talk about anatomy of an epidemic.
So rage baiting.
Oh, we're
No.
literally talking about health.
We are talking about health.
So
mental
I
health.
I can rage bait the whole conversation.
Yes.
Possibly.
Actually, I want to. Yes.
Okay,
This
okay,
is
okay.
this is a book, and I read it a long time ago, and I've wanted these guys to read it, but they didn't, so I decided, okay, instead I will annotate it
Cliff
well,
notes.
and we'll give the cliff notes. So, it's going to be really
Well,
interesting discussion.
It'll
so-
be good because we also have another podcast coming up about annotating.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So we'll talk about annotating there and then talk about some more annotating.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited.
And
I mean, like
annotating your rage
annotating,
baits.
annotating is fun.
What
But-
I mean, what could be more fun than taking colored markers and writing in books
Stickers.
and
Right.
stickers and yeah. Okay. So anyway, but we're not annotating next week. I already annotated.
Okay, well, you're
we're-
just talking about
we're talking
your
about
annotations, but in-
anatomy. I'm talking
In
about
the
my
future,
annotations.
we're talking
Yes.
about annotating.
Anatomy of an epidemic, and I will leave it at that. If you're curious about what that book is about, go look it up. And it's a controversial topic, so y'all will probably be rage baiting. I was ready to rage bait myself before I read it, so
You were.
I was. I really was. I was ready. But that's it.
That's it. All
Yeah.
right. Well, we want to thank you so much for sticking with us today and letting us explore a topic that we felt was a little controversial today. It was controversial for me. I was kind of like, oh, why? This is a sticky topic. I don't want to talk about feelings. But we did it. So we survived. We came out on the other side. And you guys have always stuck with us every time. If you listen all the way through to the end where we say goodbye, then we appreciate you a little extra. So thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming
Yes.
back every week. And, thank you for all the future listens that you'll hopefully be listening. Stop by MMC Chat on Facebook or check us out on modernmusings.net. And we'll see you next week.